Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk Live. I'm Ben Ferguson, and perhaps a few of you don't recognize me since I've lost a couple pounds since you've seen me last. Anyway, I have John Cataudella. He is with us today. You've seen him on the past several shows if you watch this show, and we kind of get into all kinds of different things, and today's going to be no different. He and I were talking about he goes and does some horse whispering, horse training, some kind of meditation. And we've talked about it before. I'm like, isn't it kind of like kicking a dead horse? And we all laughed and said, let's talk about it. It's the holidays. It's mental health year. And we're already talking about a new pandemic, but let's not even give any leg to that one to run on.
Nope.
So.
And I found something pandemic proof.
Well, I want to hear about the horses.
That is the horse.
Yes,
yeah.
Let's hear about it. So tell us how you got involved with this.
So
one thing, I remember a long time ago, a kid was having trouble. They'd send him off to a boarding school. The first thing he would do, he'd get a little room and say, "This is Sparky, your horse. You take care of it. You brush it every day. This is," and that got him better.
Yeah.
And you are doing something along those lines.
Kind of, yeah. And I didn't. It wasn't on purpose, but yeah, it's happening. So there's a
Has
horse
it helped
rescue.
you?
Yes, leaps
Immensely.
and bounds, and I'll explain how. It's called the Horse Project. It's here in Santa Barbara, and it's 100% volunteer. They have 5 rescue horses on site.
Is it for troubled kids?
No, not at all. This is about the horses themselves. But by going there and taking care of them and doing physical therapy on them, it's a total two-way street. They do a lot of liberty work there, which if you're not familiar with that, it's like imagine you're walking a horse with a lead rope, and then we'll just put that lead rope over its neck and just still pretend it's there, and that horse just starts following you around, like a
So
puppy
these
dog.
horses have been mistreated.
Some may have been mistreated. Some of them, like there's one that was tied to a pole, so it could only eat the circumference of that pole. So what happens when you run out of grass is you kind of start stretching out, right? So you can imagine like some of the injuries associated with that. But yeah, these are horses that were mistreated or older in life, and the sad thing is horses can live like 30 plus years, and people don't always plan for that. So they get their buddy at 10 years old, maybe they ride it for 5-10 years, and then they don't really have a plan beyond that. So this is the alternative to putting your horse down, is allowing facilities like this to rehome them if possible. Or
so what is it that you do when you go there?
It's aside from helping the horse
you
itself.
Park your car, you walk over to your horse.
Clean up after him. So you
Do
muck
you have
out
a
some
particular
stalls.
horse that you stay with or talk to? Or?
There's not a particular that I'm immersed with yet.
With?
But there's you always have your favorites. But yeah, like I just recently found a favorite, and it's through that. We're talking about energies, right? Frequencies and whatnot, right? So. One of the exercises is when you're in a round pen, it's called lunging a horse. You'll just get them to kind of walk around the round pen. And they had said, hey, just basically stop using your words. Just do it internally. Do it with your chi. Do it with your energy.
Do it with your chi.
Yeah, I'm a guy from, L.A., originally. I'm like, what?
Yeah, chi means totally
we didn't meditate as kids, So yeah, after I kind of got the hang of that kind of gave me a whole different thing, because the rest of that half an hour.
So you're communicating with the horse just by standing there.
Yeah, and you're basically just saying it in your head and with your energy. Like, you kind of invite him in with your hand, and you kind of just look down and just let him know, hey, I'm not a predator, because they are, they're, a flight animal, so you just let them know, hey, I'm not going to eat you, and they just come to you.
They're a little gun shy.
Yeah, and you give them a little reward for it. And then there's even an exercise where they're like across the pen, and you pretend like you're grabbing their lead rope, and there's nothing attached, and you just kind of start pulling and pretend like there's a little friction there, and they'll just start kind of walking towards you. And that's just letting you know that, hey, I trust you.
Right, so they've had some bad times, and they're seeing you, and they're still a little standoffish, and once they see that you're not doing that, then they feel comfortable. Now, if people are having problems with their teenagers or something like that, is this a place where they could call up and say, hey, can I bring my kid out here?
I think 14 and older is, I think, what they recommend for volunteering there. But even if it's not specifically that place, just anything in the equine world, I mean, just get out there and just groom a horse.
Yeah, but a lot of places,
there's
not places around here that you can do that. It sounds like what you're talking about is you can actually bring your kid there and say, hey, can he spend 3 hours with a horse?
Yeah, there's something, they could do something similar to that there. Or, there's like Hearts Therapeutic. There's facilities in town that specifically do that.
To help out the child and the horse.
not only emotionally but even physically. Like kids with physical disabilities, they'll put them on horses and actually ride them, and it's certain things. Perhaps maybe their hips aren't used to moving that direction or that.
So it sounds like it's a form of meditation. For when you leave the place, you're feeling a lot better.
I've been told that when I leave, I come home wide-eyed and happy, and
yeah, because I've seen you other than wide-eyed and happy.
Yeah, you've seen me in the stressed-out world. Yeah. Yeah, and I think it helps.
I can see that. I can see where you would both the horse and you would put you on this. You'd be on the same frequency, and yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and it's awesome to watch other people come in that have never experienced horses too. Because I'm not. I mean, I've only been around horses for less than a year, so it's really fun to watch people that have never.
Remember when I went to Malibu and went on that horseback thing? Not horseback, but horse riding, and I almost fell off a cliff because I was turning around on this sheer cliff. And the lady said, pull the reins back to back up. And I pulled the reins back, and I got scared, so I pulled them. I'm thinking, whoa, horse. And
yeah, he's in reverse, sure.
Yeah. So, but I didn't feel like I had any connection. But they weren't problematic horses either. They weren't beat up horses.
Yeah, and that horse knows what his job is. He's going to go on that trail.
Would he have gone off the cliff? Because I was this far away from going back. And the lady just screamed, and I let go of the reins.
I'd like to think not, but yeah. If they're really trained well and you tell them to get in reverse, yeah, they're probably going to back up till.
So when I'm I pat the horse and I walk around it and say hi to it, but I'm scared to walk behind it for fear of getting kicked.
Yeah.
So but that horse knows that I'm thinking that, right?
Totally.
Why is it the horse? I guess all animals do.
They're just extremely intuitive. I've heard like numbers. Oh, they're 10 times more than this, that. Yeah, I don't know what the number is, but I can tell you, it's big heads, small brains. Yeah. But I can tell you that. I mean, there's definitely a connection there, and they're all different. If you take someone with like extreme PTSD and you put them near a horse, sometimes with some sort of like trauma, it's funny how they'll connect where that horse won't connect with anybody else. But for kind of like what you were talking about, how you have a kid that's in trouble. Here's your horse. Here's your bed. There you go.
Right.
But it's about taking care of someone other than yourself.
It's about getting out of yourself. I was just about to say.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there's a difference between when you pull a horse out and it's cold in the morning, and say if they've got some sort of injury or arthritis or whatever it may be, and you see them kind of limping, and by the end of your massage session, they're a completely different horse. They're happy. They're smiling.
When you're doing something for your horse, you're not worrying about what you do and don't have.
Exactly.
You're helping something.
And the thing about horses, I mean, 85% of your energy really needs to be on them when you're when you're around them, just to be safe.
It's like good cowboys back in the day. I mean, the relationship between them and their horse are probably
it's a partnership. Good. Yeah, totally. Horse knows you're going to take care of him, and vice versa.
Remember the movies where they do something like that, and the horse comes around, and they jump on and take off?
Totally.
I bet that's real.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So when you go there, do you actually take them out through the trails, or do you just kind of hang out with them and give them a massage?
They do walkouts and things like that. But I personally don't. I go there. I give them massages. We work on.
How do you give a horse a massage?
There's
shoulder massage.
Yeah, it just depends on what it is. But yeah, there's like massages where you can like release certain parts of the body. They have joints just like we do, right? It's like like a real simple example is if I pick up one of your feet and just hold it up for like 5 seconds and put it down. It's just a stretch.
Have you ever had a situation where a horse says, "Yeah, not today"?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah.
So what happens when?
It depends what it is. I mean, if it's something that you're trying to do and it's something that really doesn't have to be done today, then we'll just do it tomorrow. It really is. It's all, and we're there to kind of take care of them.
You're there to become one. It sounds like with the horse.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
without being,
No, totally. Yeah, I mean, you can phrase it any way you want.
Too spiritual about it.
Everybody there is completely different personalities, but yeah, I mean, there's just one common goal. I mean, we're all from completely different walks of life.
But if we're all alive and we all have hearts and we all breathe, we're all from the same thing.
Exactly.
Whether it's a horse or person.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So they just get horse. I've heard stories where the sheriff will come up and somebody died in their ranch house and they've been there for 4 months and nobody knew about them and their horses are all mangy because no one's been taking care of them. Those are the types of horses that get brought to your places, not necessarily the ones that are beat.
They help out with that type of stuff, or which someone can't afford to feed them anymore, or maybe perhaps someone's terminal and they haven't really planned that end of it, because that's a reality of it too. Like I said, they live a lot longer than people think.
It seems like you have to be 14 or over. It seems like it'd be nice to get them in a little earlier.
Yeah, but you do have to have a certain level of maturity to be around horses, and I think they're just trying to keep people safe.
Pull on the tail and get kicked in the face.
Yeah, I mean,
that's something I would do if I was a kid.
Yeah, I guess if you didn't know any better, you can get yourself under some
so it
trouble.
makes sense to be 14. Well, that's good. I mean, a lot of kids have gone through a lot of crap. I don't know how. I mean, I barely made it through when I had on. In the morning, I'd get on my bike and I wouldn't come home till dark.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine sitting in an apartment or a house and not being able to do anything and wearing a mask. And
I can tell you personally, this was right in the middle of Corona, and I was just going through a lot of stress. And one of my first experiences.
How did you find out about this place?
It was funny enough through somebody that volunteers there was just talking about it. It was around Halloween time, and they were talking about, hey, I volunteer at this place. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. I'd love to go check it out. Went online, and sure enough, it's called the Horse Project here in Santa Barbara, and it was just amazing. But one of the first times I was around horses, I was going through a really, really tough time.
And what was your tough time about?
Just everything in life was just, whirlwinding, family stuff, work stuff, just Corona stuff, just everything. And my oldest daughter has a real strong connection with horses. So started getting around horses, and I just kind of put my hand on the horse as I'm petting it. And it was just like this, 5-minute period where I don't think I moved my hand. I don't really remember what happened in that 5 minutes, but I remember being super connected with the horse. And I remember we were just kind of, vibing off each other, whatever you want to call it. And then everything was fine after
vibing off
that.
each other. So if you're hearing this and you're watching this on Channel 17, then you have a kid or you have something.
Yeah.
Then what's the place called again?
It's called the Horse Project in Santa Barbara here.
The Horse Project.
Yeah, there's Hearts Therapeutic is here in town. That's another center. Even just going out and
just being out in the woods with the horses too.
Yeah, just being out. I know there's a lot of Equine Therapy. There's a lot of spots here in town that do that, where you'll actually go out with like a therapist and a horse. And, they do all sorts of different sessions.
It's funny. If the kids at home, they're watching TikTok and they're doing all kinds of tests and surveys about these kids and how they're getting the Tourette syndrome. They're getting tics. They're doing all kinds of things because of all the stuff that their brain is watching. Mm-hmm. And if they do that all day, they physically can't put it. It's like going through withdrawals, like a drug withdrawal. When they go to eat dinner, they can't. They need their phone. They can't even act right. They can't socialize.
Yeah, that just becomes normal.
It's like when you don't even know. The drug addict. Of course, we all know about that. But people that are like gamblers, addicted to gambling, and they don't know that until they go. And that's what these one-armed bandit things, these slot machines are all designed exactly like your phone. So when you sit there and you see the lights and the blink, the ding, 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 it's to suck you in.
Have you been near them lately?
Well, I saw one. Yeah, I was at the airport, and they're huge. They're like floor to ceiling.
It's basically a video game.
They're designed to suck you in like your cell phone.
And it's very current to the times.
Yeah. No, I know.
It's if you looked at like 10 years ago, it was like Wheel of Fortune games and things geared towards certain generations.
Which they still have, which
right?
I was curious to see.
Still have it, but now everything's very video game.
I'm sure they have Pokemon and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure. Why not, right?
But I think they do more than that. I think the Las Vegas is smart enough now to get scientists and find out what the addiction is to cell phones, and let's put that in our slot machines.
It's not just a slot machine anymore. Now there's games within the slot machine. So if you win a certain thing, then you go to another game, and then you sit there and you play a video game to get a bonus. And that's the.
So it's like when I used to smoke cigarettes, and they came out with patches. Well, as soon as they came out with patches, the cigarette people ran together and decided to put about 3 or 4 different kinds of drugs in the cigarette that the patch wouldn't help.
Yep.
So now you're doing the patch still going like that, wondering what the hell's going on.
Yeah, pretty smart.
That's what Vegas is doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the machines aren't little boom, boom, boom machines anymore. They're the size of a door,
Yeah, they're huge. They get your attention.
They have these seats that are double seats and like car seats now. They're two, you and your husband.
Yeah, they vibrate.
Wife can sit there and relax, and one doesn't have to be. Now, I'm sure they did some research on maybe having the husband and wife together makes you spend more money or something, because they are now car seats for 2 people.
Why not? What about you heard a lot about these Metaverse thing, the whole virtual world? So basically, is that
the gaming with cryptocurrency?
It's like a whole world, right? So it's think of Sim City in the old days, but a virtual world. You put your goggles on,
like Oculus.
Yeah, the Facebook guy, that's why they've changed it to
I had those on
Metaverse
the other
now.
day. A friend of mine's kid has that. It was pretty amazing.
So now they're going to have gloves and all sorts of stuff and your character, and then you're going to be able to play in this world, kind of like SimCity. And they're saying they're going to have, like, Coca-Cola is obviously going to sponsor and all these companies, right? So as you're walking around, you're going to be walking around with your fake Coca-Cola. You're not going to be able to drink it, but... So think about this for a minute. Everybody's addicted to gaming right now anyways, right? So now you don't have to leave your house, and your avatar could look like whatever you want it to. So you want to have six-pack? Bink, hit the button. You got a six-pack. You want to have pink hair? You hit the pink hair button.
Right. So you know who Grimes is?
Mm-hmm.
Elon's girl. So she's coming up with a game, and there's some place I heard her on the news the other day. She was talking about, I think in South Korea or someplace, people are quitting their jobs because they have these virtual games that they can actually win money on, and these people are winning. If they play well, they're winning enough money in a week that they would earn a whole month, and they earn through cryptocurrency. So then they just change it over to USD through Coinbase or whatever, and pay themselves and pay their rent. But I don't know how you can. That's the new thing. It's gambling. It's playing video games and winning cryptocurrency, and nobody's working anymore.
Well, the thing gets me about the Metaverse thing. All right, let's say.
So it's the same thing. It sounds like.
But let's say it's all legit, because you're going to be paying for stuff, right? Like if you want, a certain suit in it, you got to level up or whatever.
You mean like the pink hair and stuff you pay for?
Yeah, I'm sure
right.
you
Well,
get to level up for all that.
Right.
They've already sold Metaverse real estate. So virtual real estate in this fake land. So you could buy land in it, because we've basically ran out of real estate. So let's make some fake stuff. So
it's like buying the planet or something.
Yeah, but let's say we were doing this show in Metaverse and it was all virtual. How do you really know you're doing it with me?
Well, because you're sitting over there with the Oculus thing on your head.
But we wouldn't really be here. We would be in this fake world. So I'd be sitting in my living room and you'd be sitting in your living room. So if you're standing in line, say at the store, the guy next to you, you might think it's just some random guy. Or is he the guy that's trying to sell you something? Say, boy, the strawberries sure look good. I grabbed 2 things of strawberries today.
Well, if the Facebook guy Zuckerberg is doing this, we know there's 10 things ahead of us and we have no idea what's going on, that he's steering to make whatever is going to benefit him.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that he's the one that's doing it,
yeah,
right away I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. No, there's been a few.
Not that I don't like the guy. It's just...
Well, but I want to hear more about Grimes's deal, where you can actually get on and make money. So basically, it's like what you're talking about, Metaverse being in Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. Somehow, the games I've seen are like combat, right? Mortal Kombat or whatever, and you win money somehow. And so,
but you wouldn't have to go to Vegas anymore.
No,
you would just do it from your living room, and you're actually walking
Vegas
through
is
the casino.
all over if they could figure this out.
Well, I mean, like, think about from a company standpoint. You would never have to train a new hire again, because the hologram would stand there and train the new hire, and then the new hire could ask questions, and the holograms are just designed to answer them.
Well, I think the people in Vegas are all 30 and above. There's nobody under that, and this Metaverse has already gotten a hold of the 30-year-olds and younger.
I think so.
And if they can figure out a way to make money playing a game, wouldn't that be something?
Well, the whole world, it's a virtual world, so everything would cost. Like, if you want to play the game itself, you want to log in, yeah, you can play for half an hour, but anything over that, you got to pay X amount.
Yeah, but here's what I'm trying to figure out: how they win money. If they win money, they have to be able to lose money. So I don't know if you have to buy your way in. I don't know. It's pretty.
Have you heard of her TV show? That's kind of a whole virtual thing too.
Grimes' TV show.
Grimes did a.
I like Grimes.
I do too.
Yeah.
It's like a American Idol or whatever you call it.
Is it out yet?
I thought it was coming out.
Kind of like The Voice or something.
Kind of like The Voice, except same thing. You make your avatar your virtual character, and the audience
if you're 350
doesn't
pounds
actually see
or something, and you sing like a bird,
right?
You can have this little.
You could actually be a bird.
Yeah, a nice looking bird floating around, and then they're like, "Holy crap! They picked you."
Exactly.
Which is kind of really cool.
It is, but that's what makes me think that this whole like virtual world stuff's going to be a lot bigger than we think. I mean, is there going to be different brands?
Well, it's like Elon. He just announced that little quad for the kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
It sold out in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about him is he's doing so many things that we have no idea about. And so this Metaverse is probably, they figured this out 5 years ago. So, I mean, they're doing stuff that we're not going to know for 5 years right now.
Yeah.
So they're putting it all together. That Zuckerberg, just think if Zuckerberg and Elon Musk and Bezos all got together for good. That would be something.
I think everything would go virtual.
I don't think virtual is bad. I don't think Metaverse is bad.
I don't think it's
as long as you don't lose touch.
But that's the thing is I think the more cell phones and things kind of get bigger, we do lose touch.
Yeah.
Well, just like we're talking about horses. How many kids you would even
horses
know?
In the world is going to take care of these kids.
Yeah, but I mean, how many kids know not to walk up and pull a horse's tail?
Right.
You and I know
13
that.
and under.
Yeah, exactly.
But the kids that aren't going to Vegas that are going to be doing this virtual world. So I'm ordered furniture a while back, and I can't get it because it's sitting out and they said it's not the pandemic. It's just everybody quit working. So the truck drivers aren't driving trucks anymore. There are, but there's not 1,000 of them. There's only 300
enough. Right.
Yeah, so, they kind of trained all these people and not working for 2 years, and now they're like, hey, we don't need to go to work.
Have you seen what UPS has done in like LA and some of these metro areas? Right. So now it's kind of like similar like OnTrack or like Uber. If you want to be a UPS driver, you log onto the app, you put on your UPS like reflective vest so no one sicks their dog on you.
Go collect your packages.
And you go pick up your packages and you go drop them off.
I like it.
And it's the ones that don't make sense for like UPS to drop off,
right.
The small envelopes and whatever else. But yeah, I mean, they pay you for your mileage and all
areas.
that.
Yeah.
It makes sense in this gig economy, where everybody just wants to have 6 jobs or whatever.
Yeah, I remember they came out with rental cars, rental by the hour, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
So this is something else. So you can basically do everything. When Uber Eats came out, I thought that's not going to happen. Who's going to pay somebody $8? Then all of a sudden I heard my door knock and my food was there. That's how.
Yeah, COVID sure blew that company up, didn't it? I mean, all of a sudden everybody's on Uber
every
Eats.
time I ever ordered, they put it right in front of the screen door. Every single time, so I couldn't open the door to get it. Just over to the side would work better. But I like that. The what can Brown do for you? So you can not only be an Uber driver, you can deliver food, and now you're delivering people's packages. Yeah. There's got to be some kind of license to go with that, though. I mean, you can't just be because isn't mail like government property?
It's not mail. It's private. It's not U.S. mail. It's U.S.
Amazon.
Parcel.
Maybe
service.
Amazon's doing that.
It's a parcel. Yeah, they are with OnTrack and all that.
And I suppose they figured it out. They're not going to get anybody taking anything.
Yeah.
Wow. What's next? We were talking before about 100 years ago. What's next, man?
I'm thinking virtual and 3D printing is going to be huge.
So everything's changing. So TVs are a thing of the past. Right after I bought, Lord knows, 3 big fat TVs, now I don't watch them because everything's changing.
Now they have a 3D printer for toys for kids. So that's like something I saw the other day.
We're going to get mass production out of that? Or?
No, I think
what about make a 3D printer from a 3D printer?
But I think you're going to have a 3D printer in your house, and when you buy something off Amazon, instead of it getting shipped, it's going to print
type in the code.
Yeah, just once you pay.
I've seen some of the stuff 3D printers make, but they can't make a racetrack.
Can't make? Yeah, I guess you could. They make houses, man. Have you seen some of these houses they make? Yeah. It's one piece at a time.
Yeah, no, I'm sure everything's. They were talking about. Grimes was talking about artificial intelligence and how they really got to be careful about it taking over and thinking for itself, because there are ways for it to think for itself.
Yeah, you ever watch Westworld?
The
newest version?
Exactly, not the newest one.
Okay, no. Well, the newest one, there's a scene where they're convincing the robot that it's a robot, and she's like, there's no possible way. And then they flip the screen around like on an iPad, and it's showing them like, look, when someone says this to you, these are the 5 answers that you're programmed to say. So if you start thinking about it, you're like, wow, I'm only programmed with like 5 or 6 answers for each question too. It's all programming. All these little things are just so. Why couldn't you recode somebody? So
speaking of that, you were talking about what's it called again? Where your whole virtual world,
Metaverse.
So I have been messing around with the stock market lately, and as soon as the second I buy something, it shoots down. Every single time, and I'm thinking, I wonder if we all have our own realities, and you're here in my reality, but you don't exist,
right? And
so Zuckerberg has already figured this out. So every time I buy something, it goes straight down. And if I run to you and ask you if it went down, yeah, it went down, but you're in my sphere.
Yeah.
So everything's based on them taking from me, and I'm in a, you know what I mean? I'm in a bubble. You have your own bubble. So, and then I read this thing about, because I'm really getting into time, how time is illusion, and everything's an illusion. Everything, pretty trippy.
It is, the whole time being linear thing.
That's why that secret thing makes so much sense now.
Yeah.
because you control your world with your thoughts.
But look, we're talking about energy and all that, and like getting a horse to do stuff without words and all that. It's the same thing as The Secret. It's
well, funny thing is you're doing that to the horse, but you're really doing it to yourself.
yeah. I mean, but if you say, "Hey, I want to,"
maybe the horse is going, "Here comes Jeff again. Let's try to take care of him."
Oh yeah, I'm sure he does. Because there's horses that I'm sure you pull up and they just run the other way.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Back to The Secret. You were saying.
But it's the same thing. It's just it's that projecting energy. Here, the other day I was in line at the store, and I haven't really been in a line in forever, in these times. But the guy had a service dog with him, and there was someone that was afraid of dogs, and that service dog could sense it and was sitting there going, like whimpering, and it was whimpering because this person was scared of dogs. You know what I mean? It could sense its energy and go, okay, it's okay, it's okay. So it's whimpering. So
somebody was in line, you could see physically somebody.
Yeah, and the other person's like freaking out because the thing's whimpering, not knowing that it's just saying, hey, it's okay, it's okay. So it's just a frequency thing.
When service dogs first came to be, and I thought, you know what? I wasn't a big fan, but now I kind of am. If it can help somebody that's going through some stuff, then why not? Yeah. I just don't want to sit next to him on a plane, and I've done that, and it smells, and I'm like, I'm not into that. Maybe I'll get over that in time, but right now I'm not there.
I've got about 3 minutes, but I heard of a service mini horse, and man, I'm a horse lover.
I saw one of those the other day.
I can't see
Buell,
it,
they
man.
sell them.
Really?
Little miniature, tiny horses.
I can't imagine, man.
You know the kind you buy your kid that it rolls around with wheels on?
Yeah,
it's that size. Yeah, no, they're cool.
Not for me. I don't think I could handle that.
So quickly,
one.
back to the frequency thing. So it really is the thoughts. When you think of something, it's physical. You send a physical thought out into the realm, into the world.
Basically, stop using your words and. Yeah.
But you got to be careful because it brings back whatever you're thinking.
Absolutely.
So you have that 5 minutes of great thought, but then you mother effing everything else during the day, and guess what? Nothing changes. I have a friend of mine that's always worried about paying his bills, and he's just barely able to pay his bills.
Yep. I know exactly what you mean by that. Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that can't grasp that, and it took me a while. So I think I obviously I want to learn more. The older I get, the more I don't know.
The fear is typically worse than the consequence.
Yeah, well, fear, I don't watch you guys are talking about the recent shootings and all that. I'm like, I don't even know because I don't watch them.
The fear of anything. You want to learn how to ride a bike? Oh, I'm going to fall. The fear of it is actually worse than the fall.
Well, I've done enough crap in my life I'm over the fear.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I'm not fearful sometimes, but I know fear is just holding you back.
It's an illusion, man.
And I think Elon Musk said the best thing in the world is that if you try and you fail, congratulations, at least you tried.
Yeah.
And that is awesome. Because I remember when I taught myself how to ride a bike, I nobody was there to teach me, so I got up and I fell down all day long. I had skinned knees, skinned elbows. The kids across the street were laughing. At the end of the night, I rode around the block, and I'll just never forget that.
Yeah, and there's never been a person that's won a race that they quit. Period. If you quit, there's no winning.
Yeah, and when people laugh when you're falling down, it's just they're just I don't know.
I always thought of it as they're just jealous.
Well, they're serving some kind of ineptness inside of them. So maybe you're doing something for them as what you're doing for yourself, except they're going to have a little longer to go before they can get to where you are. How much time do we have? You're looking at him.
I think we're
about
just
done.
About out, yeah.
Well, hopefully you guys got something. Tell me the horse place again.
It's called The Horse Project in Santa Barbara.
And there are other ones in town.
There are other ones. There's Hearts Therapeutic Center.
So you can Google Santa Barbara Horse Therapy or something.
Yeah, anything equestrian. But yeah, just get out there and
you have
pet a
kids
horse.
that are stuck in the Instagram and TikTok and all that. They're 14 or above. Call them because it sounds like a pretty neat deal.
Yeah, definitely is. They'll get a lot out of it.
Cool. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all. We'll see you next time. I'm Ben Ferguson.